I took a nap. Ugh. Hey everybody. I'll wait for y'all to get on. Come on in, come on in. I want to share this story with y'all today. We're gonna move on to something else. Oh my god. This day flew. What time is it? Mm, trying to wait for people to come on in here. A second. Hey, I see somebody did come in. I am really. My resume have so much history. That's what I hate, you know? But we're going to talk about this. I'm going to show the video to you guys, so just bear with me. About the world. You know, it's raining out there. It's thunder showers and everything. So I said, hey, I'm just going to stay in tonight. There's nowhere to go anymore. You know, for me, it isn't. I don't, unless I'm going to some kind of celebration or event or whatever like that. But other than that, I just try to just like stay in my house. Ain't nothing out there unless I'm going to work, going grocery shopping, or just going shopping. But these days, I ain't in need of really much of anything. Um, I got food. I got a roof over my head. My bills are paid. I got clothes all over the place. I mean, not even all over the place, but I got enough clothes and up to date wear. And I'm classic anyway, so I don't really buy trendy. I'm not into the trends. When you get this age, you're not into the trends no more. You just chilling. But anyway, I wanted to share this story with you all about um I wanted to share this story with you all about this Michelle Blair. This is about a mother. Dang, I don't know how I could do it. It's highlights. Okay. It's Friday. Okay, I'm gonna change that up to that. Okay, I don't even know. I wish there's a way that I can Okay. I don't know. Okay, I'm trying to do something here, y'all. Okay, everyone. Okay, what I'm talking about is this mother named Michelle Blair. I'm trying to figure out when did this incident. Sorry, Rob. Let me let me just go back to this. Michelle Blair. I don't know how I could put it on screen. Okay, this mother was like mentally insane. I'm trying to find out where this happened at. You know, I was watching it the other day. It happened about 5 years ago. Well, whatever the state is that this happened in, because I'm trying to find out, okay, where it happened at. Now, this is about a mother who was insane. I mean, this happened 5 years ago. I'm not sure. It was in Ohio, Detroit, um, somewhere, maybe in Wisconsin. Some I don't know, one of them states out there. But what happens is that this mother actually used to torture her children, especially her daughter, and she had another little son. I forgot how many kids she had. I think it was how many kids that she had, but she tortured her children. I mean, the things that she did to these kids was so graphic. She burned them, okay? She made them eat oatmeal that was probably like old and cold. That's all I think she fed the child while she tortured the child. She took her bloody pad, okay, her menstrual pad, and squeezed it out in her daughter's mouth. How Lord Jesus. Then after she tortured them, and the child died from all that abuse and the torture and all the stuff she did. I mean, this mother is a mother from hell. I never heard a story of a mother. And then on top of that, the thing about it is that and the sad part, then after that, she tortured them. She put them in the freezer. And I was like, did anybody ever come and check on the kids? Did anybody come and check on her if they knew something wasn't right? But they said that she was so good at covering it up around people that she was just fine. She was very friendly and nice, and God bless you. And, she was one of them type of people. And then come to find out she committed this horrendous, brutal, um, heinous crime to her children. I mean, the worst thing you can do is bring birth children into this world and torture them and kill them. I would rather leave my kids in somebody's care and just leave them there while I try to get me some help before I try to kill them or harm them. I will call 911, say, look, I'm about to do blah, 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 blah. Please, somebody help me. If I feel like I'm in a place in my mind where, but being mentally insane, you ain't going to think like that. So I'm just saying, like, what actually, and that's why I say demons are real. Something really possessed this woman's spirit to destroy her children. Let's go and listen to it because I can't get it up here. So I'm gonna have to turn it around to let you watch it on TV. Okay, I'm gonna let you watch it on the TV. I'm gonna take the screen off. I'm gonna take the green screen off, y'all. Okay, just give me a minute. Take this green screen off. Okay, I took the green screen off, and we are going to see this thing for what it is. I'm gonna play it. Let me turn this around. Okay, here she is. That's the back of her head, y'all. I'm gonna play it. Let me turn it up so y'all can hear it. This was the most horrendous thing any mother can do to her child. I'm trying to fix it so y'all be able to see what I'm talking about here. Okay, trying to make the screen bigger. Okay, also trying to make it louder so y'all can hear this horrific thing this woman did to her daughter, her children. Okay. I intentionally killed her.
How did you do that?
Started from the beginning when I found out about what Stoney was doing. It was 9 months later after finding out about Steven. So for the whole 9 months, we were in the house and she was still raping my child. I did not know that. When I first found out, after told me, I took a minute because I was not understanding, what did she did that to him. But I repeatedly punched her on many occasions. My son, I told him to tell me every single thing she did to him. So as she was telling me, he was telling me more and more things that she did. I assaulted her every time he told me what she did to him. By assault, I mean I punched her. I have put a bag over her head till she lost consciousness. I threw hot water on her, scalding hot water from the faucet.
Did you hit her in the head with the whip?
Yes, I hit her on her head multiple times, over and over.
Was that shortly before she died?
That was actually the day before she died and the day she died.
Okay.
I hit on her back. It's like on her tailbone. I kicked her.
Okay, I just want to clarify a few things. And perhaps you don't know, but did this happen on or about May 25th, 2014?
May 25th is actually the day she died. Or the day I killed her.
And
What an honest killer.
putting a grocery bag over her head?
Yes, that day would tell me different things because she was doing this to him for years. I did not know that. You get what I'm saying? And I didn't find out till 9 months later. She had started with Steven. She ruined my son, okay? She started with Steven before he even started. So, yes, I put a bag over her head, but it got worse that day. Yes, I did. It got worse that day because he would tell me how she would take her pad, her menstrual pad, and squeeze her blood out in his mouth. Okay? And it was just...
This is very graphic.
It was over with.
You meant to kill her?
I definitely meant to kill her.
Wasn't an accident?
No, not at all. If I had a chance to do it again, I would.
When you went and got the grocery bag and suffocated her, that was your intent?
Yes. She was standing in the bathtub. I was throwing hot water on her. My son was standing to my right outside the bathroom door, and he was telling me everything he was telling me. I looked at her and I'm like, "You did this?" And she's like, "Yes." So I actually had a stick and I was hitting her in the head. Every time he told me something, I hit her very hard in her head, and I was throwing hot water on her. And when I actually took her out of the bathroom, I took her back in her room, and I just kept staring at her, and I said, excuse my language. I'm just like, I'm constantly asking her. She kept saying, "I hate him." And I'm like, "You hate him?" And she admitted to me that she hated Steven, she hated everybody. And I'm asking her why. She says, everybody always think so cute. And I'm like, so you brother, because you get what I'm saying. So I meant to. I definitely meant to. And I do not feel any remorse for what I did to Stoney. Because she had no remorse for what she did to my son. And she not only raped him, she gang raped him with Steven. While sitting on the phone, he was telling me, this is how I found out about both of them doing it together. It was too late. Steven's gone. But told me that Stoney would actually make him sit there while, in his words, her and Stoney did the nasty stuff, and then they did it to him. And
So this was
that's
your way of inflicting punishment?
definitely.
Okay.
She is a public offender, but
Where did that happen? The death?
Her actual death.
Yes.
I
Not the location of the house. Where did you live at the time?
Oh,
Was that the city of Detroit?
yes.
Go ahead.
so this happened in Detroit, y'all.
Yes, it's where if she ever actually saw or witnessed any of these acts with regard to Stoney Blair.
Okay. Yeah. Did you ever actually see anything of any sexual abuse of any kind between either Steven and Stoney?
I reject her question, but I will answer it because no one will say that this did not happen because it actually did.
I just want to have a clear record. Because so far, all you've told me was that you just heard it. Did you ever
And that
actually?
they admitted it. No, I did not. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I
But
understand.
as I went back in my head and thought back to all the many things that was wrong over the years, and I'm like, that's what was wrong with you? He used the bathroom and said, Mom, my butt hurts when I poop. I don't know. So I started giving him 100% juice to make his stool softer, maybe to help him. But that wasn't the problem. It wasn't his stool. It was that he was being raped. Okay? My son looked me in my eyes and he gave me a very detailed account of everything we did. It was not about a boy. He's a very sweet little boy. So for him to stand there and look at me and say, do it again, he was hurting. You know? At a certain point, I told him to stop talking. And I said, Stoney, you tell me it to my son. And I said, if she say anything that's not right, tell me. She started telling me many things. And I also asked her, so why didn't Steven tell me that when I asked him, did anybody do this to him? Why didn't he tell me that you did it to him? Because Stoney was going upstairs, beating Steven's ass, threatening him. Basically, at a certain point, after I was hitting Steven, I didn't want to look at him. I didn't want to look at him, so I told him to go to his room. When it came time to eat, I didn't want to take no food up, so I sent Stoney up because she volunteered, not knowing at that time that Stoney was raping either of them. But every time she went upstairs, I wouldn't have known if she hit him or not because I had put many bruises on him. So every time she went upstairs, she admitted to me that she was hitting him also, knocking the hell out of him, telling him, you better not tell her nothing. You get what I'm saying?
I understand. When she admitted these things to you, were you always being physical with her?
The first time, no. We were sitting there. She denied it constantly. I'm like, Stoney, better tell me. He don't know nothing about it. He constantly took, you get what I'm saying? Who would admit that? Who would admit that if they did not do it?
This is sad.
All right, tell me what happened to Steve.
Basically the same thing. Can I ask you a question first? The people standing behind me, this woman who just asked the question, is she trying to make it seem like this did not happen?
No. We just have to have a clear record.
Okay.
This is your time to talk. Go ahead. Right now, this is just you choosing to plead guilty. People do not have any sort of plea agreement.
Yeah, because it's like I'm willing to take a polygraph test. It's like I understand people don't want to hear me, period, but I'm willing to take on everything.
Tell me what happened to Steven.
I came home one day. My daughter, my oldest, met me at the door. She's like, Mom, come see doing his dials. And I'm like, what is he doing? He was making one dial, his little wrestle man, up on top of the other. No, I'm like, why was you doing that? I said, anybody ever do this to you? He said, no. I said, then why are you doing that? He said, yes, Steven did. And I was like, so this is the first I'm hearing about that period, which was 9 months before Stoney. Okay, Stoney wasn't downstairs, and she was always in the background. Up to God, I had questioned everybody together, but I didn't.
Did you say this was around August 30th, 2012?
No, this was before August 30th. August 30th is when he died. This was maybe a week and a half.
Before he died?
Yes.
So that, telling you that set off some action?
Yes, I went upstairs because Steven was upstairs and his and mine. And I went upstairs and I said, Steven, said you was humping on him. And then Steven stood up and he looked at me, and right then I could tell something was wrong in his face because he was just like this. Ain't no more kid. I know my kid would have been like, what? That's not what he did. He stood up and looked at me like he had lost his mind. Okay? And it just hearing that from him had stuck in my head, period. But I asked him, I said, Steven, tell me the truth. Was you humping him? He said, yes, but that was all. And I said, did you hump on him with your underwear off? He said, no. He yelled out, yes, he did. And I just remember going in the hallway, walking back and forth, like, and I walked back up and I was like, your brother? You get what I'm saying? A brother. So I'm looking at them too. I'm looking at them like, what? I can't understand. So I start punching Steven. You know, I'm like, what's you doing to him? I just start asking him questions. But at this point, it's just spilling out. He's just spilling out. And Mom, and he's doing like this, and he's doing this thing almost every night. He tell me how he was, the reason I put bags over Steven's head is because I thought in the bed, my son was never a bad wetter. Didn't know it was Steven waking up every morning, pissing on him like he was a damn piece of shit. Okay? They had bunk beds. Steven would get out the bed in the middle of the night, you rape him in his own bed, you pee on him instead of going to the bathroom. I'm waking up every morning thinking he's a bed wetter. So we just wash him up and going, you a bed wetter. So the reason I put bags over Steven's head, because my son told me that the plastic on his bed, because I thought he was a bed wetter, he said, sometimes, Mom, I couldn't breathe. Steven was laying on me and he had my face down and the plastic on the bed. I couldn't breathe and he was humping on my butt like a basketball. That's when I got a garbage bag and started putting it over Steven's head. And I started asking him, bitch, you know what I'm saying? You see what this feel like? You can't breathe? Stop it, that's my son. You could not breathe on top of getting pregnant. He was 6 years old at the time. You know what I'm saying? So I put it back over his head. He lost consciousness. I did that a couple times. He told me that would be face down. He had stuff around his neck. So I grabbed Steven, I grabbed the belt and I put a belt around his neck and I lifted him up like, do you like how this feels? Being choked with a belt. So I dropped him. I held him up until he lost consciousness as well.
You were intending to...
No, I did not intend to kill Steven.
No, I'm not. This is my question. You were intending to inflict serious physical harm, but not kill him.
Definitely.
Did you also punch him?
Yes, I did. Multiple times. Yes, I did.
You talked about choking him. Did you also burn him?
Yes, I did.
How did you do that?
Hot water, scalding hot water. In our bathroom, the hot water gets extremely hot. So, his private area, I stood in the bathtub naked. My son was joking, you know? So yes, I threw hot water in his genital area multiple times. Multiple times. Every time Steven peed in my son's eyes, he put it in his ears, his nose. He peed. He even told me one time, Mom, and in my eyes, he said it was gooey, but it wasn't pee. And right then, it was like, I didn't even know a 9-year-old could ejaculate. You get what I'm saying? So not only did you do that, and in my son's eyes. So my son had to go through all this. So yes, I threw hot water on him repeatedly. Yes, it did. His skin came off.
Did you also
His skin came off.
Windex?
Yes, I did. Because told me in the middle of the night, I took him in the basement and he made him drink the blue stuff from under the sink. And I'm like, what blue stuff? So I walked downstairs, he showed me what I said, you name, drink, Windex. And then I went back to like years before, and I'm like, is this what was wrong with him? I thought he had the stomach flu, where you vomit and have diarrhea. You get it at the same time. This is at that time. This is what was going around. A lot of people had. This is what I thought had. He did. Steven made him drink Windex. So yes, I made that boy drink Windex.
Okay, again.
Wow. Okay, y'all, I'm going to stop right here because I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. And the thing is that this mother, this horrible mother, okay, instead of turning her kids over to the system till she could get her mental health together, she ended up killing them. Well, Stephen and Stoney are the only two she killed. And the other daughter, her oldest daughter, whatever, she was the one who witnessed a lot of stuff that happened. So it did go to trial, but she already pleaded. The mother, Michelle Blair, she already pleaded that she was guilty. You know what I'm saying? She even asked for the death penalty. This is this woman, and I believe, excuse me. And the reason they probably, I don't know if they gave her the death penalty, but that's what she had asked for, the death penalty, because she was like, I want to die. Because she also tells her story about her abuse from being molested. That's sad. That's why these women that did what they did to Mr. Kelly, the liars. See, these people like this that are out there. You know what I'm saying? That we could have saved those kids from this woman. Because being raped, really, actually being raped is traumatizing. And some people don't heal from that. They cover it up like they okay, but they not okay because it just take that one little something to happen and they snap. And I believe that's what happened to Michelle Blair. And I think they doing like a case study on her. Because we really got to understand the mind, the mind of people. Like sometimes people think they well and you think they well, but they not well. You never can. It's scary. Like you can never tell. You could never tell. I didn't see the whole court case, but I just heard about the story. I went and looked at it. It happened in Detroit, in Wayne County. I don't know nothing about Wayne County, Detroit, whatever. Okay, but I know it happened back in 2015. This has happened around that time, about 2015 sometime. Michelle Blair, and it's so sad that she had 3 children. And the father of the children, or whatever like that, is should be also going to jail. They should also be right along with her in jail. You know why? Because I'm sure they knew something wasn't right. And they knew they not being with her, something wasn't right, but to leave the children with her. And even though, like the law here in America, that's how it is. The woman gets all the rights over the children. But in some countries, they don't. When the woman want to leave the marriage, either they're going to kill her or send her off somewhere and never see her again. Or they going to, like take the kids and she can't have no whatsoever contact with the children. The family keeps her away from the kids. It's a dominating male culture in other places of the world. That's what makes America so great. It's not that America is great because of our social ills that we have, like some of the things that we have in our government. But what we do have in this American system for women is that women really have a whole lot more rights in this country than any other place in the world. The women here, I ain't been to all the 7 continents of the world, but I just got a feeling that everybody escaping to come here because of the freedom it has. It gives them that freedom to deal with being an individual and don't have to follow some religion cult type of thing, like certain customs you don't, people being controlled by in their country, in some countries, not all, okay? Like in certain places of the world, there's not a lot of rights for women. Mentally insane mothers be having these kids and killing them, and only God knows, like mental illness, man, that is a disease that nobody wants to get. Nobody wants to get, because when the mind ain't right, nothing else is right. Your world is just all messed up. But in her case, by Michelle Blair, I don't think nobody took her story of rape. I don't think she got the counseling and the support and the help that she needed when it had happened to her. But as she became an adult, and she might have been a really sweet lady at one time. She could have been a real sweet lady, and she was probably a very loving woman before. And, you know, had bad choices in men. It happens. Some good women turn bad because of the bad choices of men they chose. The men that abused them emotionally, mentally, financially, left them, abandoned them with their children. They struggling, they by themselves, they poor. All of that stress and that drama. These men, the not these men. I can't blame all the men. There's some men out there that are great. Well, I got a great one. I can tell you that much. But I'm just saying that I feel sorry for her in a way, but still in all, why didn't somebody know that this woman was mentally ill? They could have saved those kids. The father of those children should be right there in jail with her. Because they made them kids together, and all the blame should not be on her. And I'm sure they recognized some of her behavior in her mental illness. You recognize some sign of her mental illness. There might have been some outbursts you had that you could remember that she was acting crazy, like, let me get my kids out of this environment. But see, men don't be thinking about that. But somebody should have came to help. Somebody, even if she didn't want to voluntarily do it on her own, to take herself to a hospital and admit herself and tell them that she's hearing voices and she's going crazy. Let me tell you, I got mental illness people in my family, so I know I keep them away. They ain't come to my house and spend the night. No, I don't do that. Go to a hotel. No, because I wouldn't be sleeping at night. You know what I'm saying? I'm the type of person, I don't want nobody living in my house. But me and my husband, I barely want him here. Okay? Because of the simple fact that you never know when the mind is snapped. When somebody snapped. But that's why I keep my anointing on me. I keep my anointing oil on me. I try to read my Bible. God, I ask him and everything to keep me in my right mind and all of that. Hey, Cisco, how are you? I haven't seen you in a minute. It's good to see you. Good seeing you. Oh, sister is fine. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, so there's some people that just don't get it. Like, if you got a person in your life, in your family, and you know they have mental illness and they got children in their care, why I'll be calling every day and she tell me they not there. I'm gonna do a wellness check. Okay? I'm gonna send the po-po. Okay? It's not even about trying to say, it's about saving them kids. Check on them kids, see what is going on. She has a history of mental illness. She has made, I will make up shit just to get the kids out the house or get some help. It's just sad that nobody, and then when it happens, everybody's like, oh, she was such a, we didn't know, we didn't see. They saw something. Some people just want to mind their business. And sometimes it's not good to mind your business because we are on call. Well, most, they said the harvest is full. I mean, the what you call it, the laborers are few. You know what I'm saying? The laborers are few. The harvest is full, but the laborers are few. Meaning, there's not too many people out here that are good. It's very hard to find good people. Good neighbors or anything. People fake, 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 fake. Everybody went to Hollywood. Just put it that way. They all want to escape from who really they are. They want to play phony. They fake. Okay, this world. But God is ready to flip this world over because now He's going to turn it over to be a better place for the world, for the people to live in. Because all of this stuff going on right now is just, it's not the end of the world, but it's going to be the end of this type of stuff in the world. You know what I'm saying? The end of this kind of leadership in the world and the end of some other things. God is just going to do a shift. God is just going to turn certain things to start all over again. Not slavery. We ain't doing that. It might be some slave. You want to be a slave. You don't know the word of God. You're going to be a slave. That's it. When you don't know Jesus, you become a slave under somebody else controlling you. Instead of allowing Christ to be a slave under Christ is free. But to be a slave under somebody else, you're never free. You always going to be fighting with yourself. You're, doing things to yourself. When Christ, you are free. You're a slave under Christ because you got to work and serve under Christ, but you're free. You got free will. You can either serve under Christ or you could go serve the devil. That's your choice. And the devil don't love nobody. Okay? The devil don't love. He gets his pleasure to see you suffering and in pain. That's how the devil is. But when you serve under Christ, you might suffer, but it won't be as painful and as cruel. And it won't be so much heaviness on you. You're going to go through things, but it won't be the way like somebody that don't know Christ. For an example, it's like serving Christ is like you only down to your last $2 in your purse. And say you have a child with you. And this is all the last $2 that you have. You're going to go inside a place with your child and you're going to say, look, my child needs something to eat. Forget about me, but at least feed my child. I got $2 left in my hands. I could give you $2 and go to McDonald's, whatever. And can I get a Happy Meal for my child? But at least this is all I have is $2. I will take an initiative to do something that kind of way in Christ, Jesus, to make sure my child gets a meal, instead of taking it the way the devil say do it, go steal, go bag, go raw. No, sometimes you don't got a bag to eat because you're going to go someplace and you're going to get you something to eat. Okay, and I see people do it in New York all the time. When I was in New York, every freaking time I got that part I don't miss about New York at all. Time you turn around, there was a derelict, a homeless person asking you, because the rent in New York is ridiculous high and people can't live like that. People living like all on top of each other. It's too crowded. Going down in the subway is dirty. Dirty, and rats, big old rats running across your feet and stuff like that. You going to work to go. That's the whole thing that was well, when I was younger, I didn't think about it. It didn't bother me. But as I grew old, I'm like, I can't live like this anymore. I don't know. You don't want people around you. Or the older you get, the more you want your peace. You want your space. You want your peace. You don't want to bother. You don't even want to get out the bed. Okay? You just tired. You don't did this, that, and the other, but you still got to do what you got to do for the Lord. You want to be here. You got to get up. You got to work. You got to, pay your bills. You got to whatever. And try to do the best you can. Just do the best you can. But back to what this video was about Michelle Blair. The demons are real. And a lot of people don't think so, but demons are real. Because this woman was possessed with some type of demon. And then we understand that her story is that she was also sexually assaulted when she was young. She was abused, violated, and everything. So that's brought on her sickness. And that spirit of what this person did to her got in her. Okay, totally possessed her, like totally possessed her. So she was fighting it for a long time, and her family saw something. That's why I said the family should be also going to jail. They need to be examined. Which you'll find. Thank you. My lips. Yeah. So her family should also be held accountable for what happened to these children, because I know if I had them, because I had some mental illness people in my family, and believe me or not, my cousin, God bless her soul, she passed away. We were really, she's good people. You know, at the end, she really flipped out. Her husband, after the death of her husband, she really wasn't the same, and she started having a lot of, she was suffering with mental illness. She was calling people, but I was glad that she was calling people though. She stayed on the phone. She just stayed on that phone. That phone, boy, that phone will be blowing up on morning, noon, and night. She'll call you. She'll talk to you for a minute. Then she'll hang out. Then she'll call you and talk to you. But one of my cousins didn't realize she didn't call a couple of days, and he's like, something ain't right. She called every day. We talk every day. He says something ain't right. He called up the family. He said, somebody need to go and check on her. Somebody need to go and see if she's okay, because she hasn't called me in the last couple of days, and I know something ain't right. Because she calls me every day. Every day. On a routine, she will call every day. And then finally, they went over to her house, and she was dead. Her body was decomposed. 3 days, her body, it was hot too when it happened, when she passed away. It was a really hot day. The weather was warm because it was right after Easter. So the weather was really warm. And her body decomposed. They didn't even have an open casket for her, but it was just knowing she was in that casket. Just really, you know, I think I took it the hardest among anybody, because she called every day. And when she called, I was like, oh, God. But then now, when I think about it, I miss her so much. But I'm just saying, she had a mental condition going on. But at least we knew when she called us, she was okay. We would talk to her, da 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 da. And it's just the way it was. Our family will check on them. Thank God my cousin was able to say, we didn't hear from her in 3 days. Blah, 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 blah. Something ain't right. So do check on your loved ones. And this is something I wanted to bring for cases on child abuse, and children being put in through this type of torture by their own parents. We saw the movie, of course, Precious, with Monique. Horrible. And that was basically a true story. I read the book. The book was called, what was the book? The book was called, oh my God. It wasn't called Precious. Yes, it was. Was it called Precious? Who wrote the book? I gotta find out who the author was from the book. But I believe the book was called Precious too, or it was called something else. But the book was very much more detailed of what the parents would do to the young lady, what her mother would do. She was, she ain't the only. You'd be surprised how many young people go home and are sexually assaulted by their own parents. It was just like me. It's just like me going to, you know what I'm saying? Wait, what did I say? It's like me working in that line of work it gets to your heart sometimes. It gets to be working in the kind of work that I do. It does get to your heart to see children they're young and they're innocent, and they can't really figure, they don't understand things quite yet. And you see things that they do in the classroom, and you want to say something so bad, but it's so hard to talk to sometimes these people without them thinking that you trying to make up stuff. to prove that this is actually happening, it's very hard to, see these things go on. And sometimes you recognize things and you want to help and you want to save a child. But you got other people out there that just don't want to do no investigation. They don't want to find out anything. They just want to write down some paperwork and just shove it around in the system. You know what I'm saying? It just gets lost in somewhere in the files in the system. Like these 5 kids that was adopted by this white couple, and somehow or the other, those kids were failed due to the fact that the system failed them. You just gave them off to these people and probably didn't even really do any much of a background check about this couple before they just handed over these children to these people, foster care. The foster care system is messed up. If somebody asked me to do it, I was like, no, I don't want them kids up in my house. Nobody, no. And I was like, why? They said you get money. It ain't about money. It's about my safety. You know what I'm saying? It's about my sanity, my safety. These kids been through a lot of stuff that I can't help them with. I mean, sometimes these kids come in with stuff that you just can't really reach them with. And in today's world, what they being influenced by makes it even more scary. What these kids do. Look at this other situation where this child, the son, he gets out of jail. He go lives with the mother, and he kills the mother, and he kills the brother too. So when people are possessed by demons and everything else like that, I ain't letting them people stay up in my house. No, just like I told my sister, I said, look, you be wanting to bring family members and everything to come stay at your house, girl, you better be careful with that, because these people crazy. You notice that I'm always here all the time by myself. I'm not here by myself, but, I do these videos, I'm by myself, but I'm not by myself. But I'm just saying, like, I don't keep my house too busy with noise. Trust and believe that. I don't be having all them people coming in my house. My house is I call it my sanctuary. It's my sanctuary. You can't be bringing all them spirits up in your house. But I just wanted to just share that with y'all. Maybe I'll share something later on this evening, but right now I'm kind of hungry. So I got to go get me something to eat. And hopefully I'll try to get back with y'all. But this is just to bring some kind of mental health awareness about things that do happen and that we all as a community. And if you see something or something seems not too right for you with a child, please don't ignore it. Watch it. Just like those kids that was brought from that couple that took those black kids and made them slaves and made them work on the barn and was beating and abusing them and doing all that, torturing them or whatever. Things like this is going on. That's why when I see kids in my neighborhood, I be looking out the window. I be looking to see them outside playing and everything. I be watching the kids around here. I try to get familiar with them. I try to get familiar with my neighbors just in case I see some suspicious activity. Okay? I'm like the neighborhood watch lady sometimes. You could say that, the neighborhood watch lady. So anyway, y'all. I can't believe the ice cream truck coming outside is outside. But anyway, y'all, I gotta go. God bless you, love you, and peace.